Alright, let's see. We've actually got 4 packages here. Okay, openings up here. Fucking hell. It's all a little bit annoying. Today's 3. And we got this, which arrived. These next 3 actually arrived yesterday. I think yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. This packaging can be really annoying. We've got a couple Right Stuff packages, so let's get the scissors out. Should cut towards, so down there. Like a receipt, and we got these, and one more box. I guess that's why they shipped them the way they did. I think a lot of this stuff is ordered separately, and Right Stuff does like to. Wow, this tape's actually kind of thick on this one. Right Stuff likes to bundle stuff. I think this one's bundled. One of these 2 I think is bundled. Okay, see, there's 2 things in here. At least 2 things. Let's see. This should go on this side here. Polysale. Nothing else in here. Good. Alright. Of course, that's not everything. I guess this is a big release week. Let's split these temporarily because there are a couple more things to show. First of all, there's a Hentai DVD, Doctor Strange, The Quest for the Magical Pussy. This one has a bit more of a revealing cover, so I've opted to cover parts of it. And then we got a Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee Pokeball Plus editions. Oh, I guess this one keeps opening on its own. I haven't actually fired up the game, but I did look inside to see if I was maybe considering it, and you know, they're basically just boxes with simple boxes with these 2 things in them per thing. And I don't remember all the features of the Pokeball Plus. You can carry a Pokemon of yours on the go. And you got the Switch games themselves, but let's put this back up here and start going through these. To begin with, we have Star Blazers $21.99 Season 1 Part 2. I mean, it's not called Season 1, but I do believe another season is being released and or worked on. So first thing we have to do, we have to look under the sticker for any sexy guys. And I don't know if you would consider him sexy, but he certainly has the pretty boy vibe going on. Ooh la la. I'll take that, throw that down there. So, we've got a Region AB, we've got English dub, extras, episode commentary, New Frontier, The New Frontier Continued, illustrating Space Battleship Yamato, promo videos, textless songs, trailers. So, if you didn't know, the Japanese name for this series was Space Battleship Yamato, but it's being released here as Star Blazers. Looks like the same there. As you can see, I remembered to eject the disc because I am still technically in the middle of watching this. This stuff. And you got our Blu-ray and our DVD versions. Good stuff. Next up, we have Twin Star Exorcist Part 3. Part 3. I guess I must have a Part 2 somewhere around here. Well, let's check under the sticker for any sexy ladies. No, just an elbow, if you're into that sort of thing. Let's see, looking on the back, we've got Region A. Extra features is all along here. We've got textless opening song, textless closing song, and trailer. Trailers. Simple enough. Oh, plastic on the inside. Let's see, take this. Yeah, it is really weird trying to open these with that near there. I hope it's coming out off on camera okay. First of all, I'm going to fix this. Huh. Looks like we've got a reversible cover. Maybe the other ones have been, I don't remember. Disc 5, Disc 6, those are Blu-ray. This is DVD Disc 5, and Disc 6. Straightforward enough. Last week, I think I mentioned Beyblade Metal Fusion, and that shipped. Amazon's being really weird with when it's choosing to ship stuff. But, yeah, because they were saying, oh, you're going to have to confirm this order, but then it shipped. And they've been doing that for a couple of things. Let's see, on the back. So basically, I don't think my Beyblade Metal Fusion stuff that I got before is as complete as this one is. It just didn't look like there would be enough episodes, but this is like last week's Beyblade thing in which there's 10, 20, 30 unreadable, but that's over here 40 and then 51 episodes. Next up we have Made in Abyss, the premium edition. Well, limited edition, I guess. So, of course, you know, the regular edition came out a long time ago, but interesting. Well, I never took this off, so now I will. How far would you go for the ones you love? I'm not sure if that's the right subtitle or not. We got Region A. As you can see, it's got an English dub. Special features. We got includes Blu-ray with extra features, a 6-page soft cover booklet, tapestry map, lanyard with whistle charm, and phone stand. Interesting. It didn't seem like there was that much in there, but interesting. Okay, well, that's a little empty on the back, but that's okay because this entire thing, as you can see, it's got crowd favorites. You can see here that it's got tapestry of the Abyss itself, or latest map, and this thing opens by popping these open. And then we got some excellent Made in Abyss artwork there, and there. At this point, we need to... Oh, we can take a peek at the side there, and not really there, but let's pop it out and start peeking around inside. So let's begin bottom to top. First off, we got the Blu-ray itself. I don't think there's any new information here. Maybe special features. Clean opening, clean closing, Japanese trailers, promos, Kevin Penkin, long interview, Joey event, making of Made in Abyss 1, 2, Music in Abyss, also available from Sentai Filmworks. You see, one thing this series really has going for it is it's got some really neat artwork going for it. There's just a lot about this that's... It catches the eye in subtle ways. The colors mix really well. It's all really neat stuff. Here's a special booklet. with looks like a small variety of information. I don't want to look too closely in case anybody would be spoiled by it. And then we got this box, which has some neat art on it, of course. These are made in Abyss Extra. So this is probably all the other stuff that the box said this came with that I actually haven't seen yet. Okay, yeah, that's everything in here. And so first of all, we have... I see. I was wondering if they were going to say it was coming with a whistle, but it actually comes with a white whistle. Which, if you've seen the show, you know, is supposed to indicate cave persons of the best capability. I think I want to put that back in last. This looks like a map of the Abyss. And you know what? I'm going to open it up. I know I usually don't because it's a pain in the ass to get these back in their plastic bags, and I want to put them back in there for reasons. And this looks like a map, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I wonder. Okay, nothing on the back. Maybe we're going to turn the camera up a bit so I can hold this up so y'all can see it. This is actually a really neat thing to have. I mean, the anime is called Made in Abyss, and the Abyss is definitely a really strong part of the reason why it's neat. One of the reasons it's a good anime is because that's not the only neat thing about it. But let's see, let's go back down here. I put it back in there without putting it in the bag. Maybe I don't want to put it back in the bag. Maybe I should just take it out and frame it and put it on the wall somewhere. Maybe it's another one of Wiley's booby traps. Oh, but look, I got it back in, no problem. So, and then there's this. Oh, is this the phone holder? Oh, I see. It's a cheap little thing. I thought I was going to have to open it, but basically, you see how there's a slot there? Well, there's a slot there, and the idea is slide this there. That becomes a little shelf for your phone to sit on, and you get to look at Nanachi when you don't have your phone on it, which is pretty cool. I'll have to think about the fact that I have that because I don't know if I will be using that for other purposes. I know, like when my brother comes over to do Monster Hunter, he wants to put his phone somewhere. I think the real problem is a lack of solid surface and not lack of phone holder, because he has phone holder solutions of his own. I don't think this will stack too well, so I'm going to actually put this on the side there. Alright, let's start these. Let's see, we have... Jesus Christ, this is heavy. Well, this is Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel. This is the first movie, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is one where I'm probably going to wait for all the movies to come out before I consider watching it. Of course, excuse me, that's been a problem that's caused me to not watch plenty of things. I see compact disc there, Blu-ray there. I don't see it saying region. I see subtitles English there. English audio, Japanese audio. So this has a dub to it. Bonus materials and package. Original soundtrack 1, alright. Art book, animation material booklet. Rigid box illustrated by person from Type Moon. Bonus contents. English cast interviews, PV and CM interviews. Oh, you know, it's all a bunch of good stuff. The real goodies come from actually taking a look at it, though. Because, first of all, it's got some really nice artwork to it. Although this almost makes it look like it should be part of Sword Art Online stuff. I guess you could call that a quirk of, Aniplex and their releases. Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel Presage. Presage? I don't know, I've never seen that word before. It's some sort of flower. I didn't get a good feel for what is inside this art book. Just flipping through it. So I don't know if it's really unique in that regard. Next up we have Thou Art book. Okay, I'm not even going to try to read that because it's hard to read it underneath this light as it is. But this should have a bunch of art in it. Oh, wow. Just going through that real quick. I saw a lot of neat art. Lives up to its name. And then last but not least, we have the usual cast. The Great Holy Grail is the omnipotent power in the field of magecraft, a grantor of wishes that can realize any desire. In order to obtain this power, the masters would fight a fearsome battle in which they killed each other. That's the Holy Grail War. Yeah, that's the Holy Grail War in a nutshell. Okay. I think these discs are solid enough. I need to take a look at this because this is a complete artwork. It doesn't look like there's anything under the discs, but we do have the Blu-ray disc and the CD. Pretty cool. And yeah, it's my understanding, so the way Fate Stay Night works is it was originally a game, visual novel I think is what it was called. There are 3 main story arcs, at least in the original or maybe an older classical version. I don't know if because I don't know if they've made more. But the idea is the first anime that came out that people have mixed feelings about is a mixture of all 3 of the endpoints. It kind of turns it into more of a harem-y anime than it really was. I mean, I suppose those elements were always there, but Unlimited Blade Works was the second story arc and was really good. So the first anime was mostly the first story arc with elements from the others mixed in, and Heaven's Feel, as I understand it, is the third story arc. So that should be neat. Next up, we have Blend S, which I don't know what it's about, but I think I've seen the name a couple of times. So this anime definitely piqued my interest. So far, it looks a little maybe slice of life, maybe not quite that cutesy, maybe the right word, which I would actually say is a good thing because it kind of sounds like something I would want to put on. Complete Blu-ray set. And okay, yeah, this is actually a part of it. This isn't like the Monogatari stuff where that's a piece of paper that you take off. Everything is a treat, even being stomped on in this outrageous working comedy. Okay. That may or may not be a good thing. I see approximately 280 minutes. I'm trying to think how many episodes that is. That could be a 12 episode thing-ish. Maybe 11 episodes. And you're probably looking at this and saying, oh, it says right there, but I see Japanese with English subtitles. Yeah, I don't see where it says how many episodes it is, which is all okay. I'm not even quite sure if I'm seeing any whatchamacallit, special features. So, let's begin with this on the bottom. Ooh, she's got a 3DS. Wait, why is there so many fucking buttons? What the fuck? What the hell does she have? It's an interesting parody of a 3DS or DS or something like that. So we got 2 discs, disc 1 and disc 2. This one, is that a strawberry? Is that a carrot? I would guess a strawberry. That looks like a bean, which would make me think cocoa bean, which doesn't strike me as sweet, and this talks about sweet. Okay, we definitely have to peek under these discs, as there's girls hiding underneath them. There's girls all over the place. And I'll be honest, none of them look familiar. So we got a little booklet with characters, you know, nice and quick. Blend S. And what's this? Oh, wait, there's an advertisement for this again. But no, there's Fate Apocrypha. This is limited edition Blu-ray box set 1. So, you know, not yet another Fate thing. And this was one of those weird things where it's like, I'm not sure why the Fates didn't ship together, but I guess it's because there's really not enough room in that box for both of their egos, because they got really big egos. And that's their Fate. Alright, so you can kind of see here that stuff on the inside. So let's take a peek at the box itself. And once again, this thing, you see I've been bumping up against that and failing to always take it out. It's been a consistent little annoyance. Let's turn this upside down and just go through. We got the animation material. Oh shit. And I don't know exactly what the idea behind this one is. It's definitely, you know, Fate franchise stuff. But I don't know if they were going with a gimmick or not. This says 1 and 2, so this is probably limited edition Blu-ray box set, discs 1 and 2. It says so right there. If we take a peek on the inside, we see people. We see people. It's definitely curious looking. Not knowing what they did with the series and being kind of weird because not everybody likes 3 and 4. Not everybody likes what they've done. I wonder if, you know, maybe not be dissimilar. Huh. I was just thinking she has a horn on her head, kinda. Probably related to whoever she is, or is supposed to be. Which could be not somebody I would necessarily know. I don't know. Anyways, that. A sister's all you need. Oh, time to take the sticker off to see if there's any sexy ladies underneath it. I'm not sure if sexy is the word I would choose to use, but it looks like the answer is there's either a guy and an effeminate guy or a guy and a girl. I don't know. I think it's a guy and a girl, but the person in green, they're ambiguous enough that I wouldn't say 100% that they're girl. More like 99% sure, I guess. Regions A and B. We've got an English dub. Includes episodes 1 through 12 plus extra. Original Twitter anime. Texas opening, Texas closing songs. Okay, so does this mean if I look down here, 12 episodes on 2 Blu-ray discs? Yeah, okay. Funimation Crunchyroll Blu-ray release of some sort? See, that person in green is acting awfully girlish, but they're not so clearly designed that I'm not 100% sure that they're not a trap of sorts. And maybe not like an explicit trap, but something along those lines. This one. Cause see, I think that's that person again. And they definitely don't look definitive. Well, anyways, this is one that it's an interesting looking show. And there's 13 episodes on 2 discs, so I guess this isn't a series of 10-minute episodes. It kind of feels like that for some reason, but it isn't. Maybe it's because I'm not used to the Funimation releases, which don't have DVDs, because I think this is Funimation. Yeah, of course it is. They had the Funimation insert in and everything. Wow, this thing does not want to go back on. This is some stubborn shit. Next up, we've got Fireworks from the producer of the worldwide sensation Your Name, which, you know, doesn't sound like a specifically spectacular name, but it's definitely a intriguing one, I would say. Did I see something back here? I see an A down there. Ooh, bonus features. Behind the scenes with the English cast and theatrical trailers. Simple enough. I thought I saw something that said English audio, but I'm feeling the need to start packing up. We're getting closer and closer to the end, so we're not quite there yet, but this is... Okay, that's a Blu-ray, that's a DVD, okay. And even though it's supposed to look like, I don't know, sparklers or something, water in front, it looks a little bit more like lightning, I guess. Maybe because I'm not looking at it too directly. And then, last but not least, Hello Kitty and Friends Let's Learn Together Collections 1 and 2, which I do believe, I'm not sure who released these, Sentai Kids did, but as you can see, these have Japanese audio, so there's no question that these are anime. Because I'm not sure if all the Hello Kitty franchise stuff, if everything that's been animated is anime, because Sanrio is a Japanese company as far as I know, and created Hello Kitty and all that stuff, and I do have some other Hello Kitty stuff in the collection. But it's one of those things where, even if it seems silly for whether or not I should get this, it becomes an answer, an obvious answer when I'm like, oh yes, definitely. 1 disc. 2 disc. Alright, let's put Made in Abyss at the top of this pile, because this week we have a nice big anime DVD collection update. Okay, if any of you were hoping I finished New Game Season 2, I guess for whatever reason, I didn't. But I did prioritize the watching of Made in Abyss, because this one made a lot of splash, and I've seen Nanachi all over the place, and was fairly certain they came from this, and I'd seen a couple of other graphics characters, I guess, from this. Mostly, I think I saw Reg maybe once or twice on VR chat. Okay, yeah, it's okay. So yeah, obviously my brain is a little fuzzy. Anyways, it's actually a really good anime. There's definitely parts of it that could be kind of harsh to watch, I guess, but it's not out of character. You will kind of have a good feel for, okay, this show isn't taking this thing and it isn't making it about, oh, well, here's this dangerous thing, but some kids do it and they're just kids, and you know, it's a fun romp. You know, that kind of thing sort of undermines the message of whatever environment they're trying to set up, whereas this show, it knows that stuff is kind of its lifeblood. So basically when it begins, you probably won't see much of a oh, I'm excited to see what's going to happen next story-wise sort of grab. Instead, it's just a lot of really fascinating, neat stuff. The pacing isn't bad, the slice of life isn't bad, the interesting. Looks like the little button came off of the box itself. Well, I'll worry about that later, but basically, you're fascinated by the art style, you're fascinated by the character interactions, you're fascinated by the Abyss and the mystery of the Abyss that they set up, and the mystery of, they introduce a mysterious character, they introduce, basically, there's a lot of things to gather your interest, and you can kind of feel that it is very intentional with what it's doing. And I know there's this feeling, especially early on, of this, oh yes, these are a bunch of kids, and I know, like, a bunch of kids hanging out discovering the mysteries and wonders of the world is kind of a neat thing that can be explored, but I also feel like sometimes anime don't quite get it right. So like Deno Coil is, I think, a really good example of that. People really like that, and for me, I have some trouble connecting with that element because it feels like there's a kind of made-upness to the artificiality that just comes from stuff there. It's like, it doesn't feel as exploratory so much as it feels convenient to me. And, you know, that's something that differs from person to person. But I don't think Made in Abyss suffers from that because the Abyss is there. The Abyss just... The more you learn about it, the more you watch it, the more you kind of don't know how well you really know it, because there's this kind of surrealness to it. It almost reminds me of the second season of Tower of Drago, but that one was intentionally surreal, whereas this one hasn't actually said anything explicitly. It's just this feeling you kind of get as you go through it, like it, I don't know. I was going to say like it doesn't make sense, but that's not quite what I'd be going for in terms of describing it. Oh well, anyways, I really enjoyed it. I can see why people are wanting a second season, because it's not a complete story on its own. And whether or not the second half or the second season would be complete, I don't know. Was there a Made in Abyss movie? I think so, because I thought that was licensed recently, but I don't know. Anyways, I finished that. That one was a very high priority to watch. And then I started watching Star Blazers 2199 Part 2. Because Part 1, you know, it was good enough. It gets you kind of interested. I'm trying to say hints of cheesiness, maybe, but it's just like maybe a thin slice. I don't know. There could be something there where it might depend on your tolerance, and maybe most people don't even think about it, but I'm noticing something that's like, maybe it's because I'm watching this and wondering how it differs from the 70s show. And I've heard that pacing-wise, it's actually kind of not bad, which actually says a lot about the good pacing of the 70s series, I think. Because it seems kind of long, but it sounds like it's a deserved length. And I don't know. Excuse me. Basically, you know, I'm all but the last episode into the first disc of this, so I don't know how many episodes that is. That could be like 7 or 8 episodes. And, you know, I'm still enjoying it. It's neat. It's nice to have Anna and see things develop. And I don't know that they've necessarily developed enough that I would say, oh yes, it's developed. But, you know, there's still neat things going on. I'm probably, what the hell came out this week? I was going to say I'm probably going to continue watching that. But I'm trying to think what else even came out. I don't know. Anyway, and it's real bad because it's like right there off camera, but I have it turned away from me, and so I'm not sure. But anyways, other things I watched. So I watched Ready Player One. Y'all might, if y'all are continued coming back watchers or whatever, you might know I got it last week. And basically my Thursday friend decided, you know, he would be interested in seeing it again, seeing my thoughts on it, watching it. And so that's what we ended up doing instead of finishing the new Batman Adventures and then moving on to Superman the Animated Series. And what can I say? I thought it was a good movie. I think there was flaws with it. Like there's little things that barely worked. Like the kind of ending quiet scene, and some of its setup of people and stuff wasn't quite, I felt, realistic. Like, it's not necessarily bad, but it's one of those things where you have to say, yeah, if people are going to be going into VR, they're not going to en masse be going to a place to get a whole lot of stuff. They're going to instead switch to the VR thing that kind of allows them to just be themselves, to hang out, to do stuff. And I say this as somebody who's been doing VR chat, and it's like, okay, yeah, a lot of people want to upload their own avatars, but a lot of people are also like, whatever, I really like this one, it's cute, and I just want to do that. And it kind of seems to forget that that the VR in this world is supposed to be an escape from reality. But other than that, it's fun. It's, even if it's got these little stupid things going for it or against it, they're just little stupid things, and for the most part, it's fun. Pacing wise, it actually felt pretty good, and I'm noting that because my friend wanted to know how I thought this compared to Ender's Game, and I liked Ender's Game more, but you can kind of tell watching the Ender's Game movie that there was a lot of content being compressed into a movie, and some people may have thought that Ender's Game suffered for that, and I wouldn't blame them for that. And the fact that I could feel that even if I didn't know what was missing kind of tells that it is there. But I didn't really get that feeling watching Ready Player One. And that's why I'm talking about the pacing, because it's a really good indicator, I think, that it's a good screenplay. Now, obviously there's some things about it that are different compared to the original source material, the book, I think. And for the most part, that's okay. You kind of expect that sort of stuff. Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy added all that stupid, we need to add a romance in there stuff, and no, they didn't. But all the other stuff is still so super awesome that, Lord of the Rings movies are great. It's great to go back and peek through them, and one of these days I'm going to say, all right, let's sacrifice an entire day and watch all three of the directors cut back to back. Yeah, that'll probably be the day that I have absolutely nothing else to do. So probably not going to happen. Anyways, going back to Ready Player One, that basically means, it's a good movie. You get a good feel for the pacing. You can kind of tell that some of the reason there's some of these extremes is it's intentionally designing a world of very black and white, good versus evil sort of stuff. And sometimes you just have to kind of throw reality out the window in order to do that. And for what it does, it's fun. Fun is a good word for it. It was a fun movie. Lots of fun references. You probably already know that's a lot of fun references. If there's anything about it that I would say is really off-putting, it's that the characters look great, except for all the main characters. And I guess some of them just aren't that notable to look at, but it's like... the main characters can be kind of painful to watch. Oh well. Anyways, one last thing. Okay, yes. Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. So that was an okay movie. Notice I'm not saying it's like a fun movie. So basically, if I were to rate Ready Player One and Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, I think I would put Ready Player One higher than it. But for the most part, Crimes of Grindelwald suffers from the problem of narrative iffiness, I guess, is what I'm going to call it. Because when you get down to it, there's a lot of fun things and fun ideas that are in there, but you don't have a very good feeling for what it should be doing, so you hear it all and you say, okay, now what? Where is this leading to? And I say that as if you're asking that very expectantly, but this is more just a general feeling you have watching it. And you can think of this compared to like a lot of the Harry Potter movies, where even if there were a bunch of stuff that didn't seem relevant going on, for the most part, you let Harry Potter and Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone, depending on which locale you're in, you kind of have a very good idea that you're watching that movie, but it's building up to the Philosopher's Stone, and you can kind of see, okay, well, this stuff is introducing me to elements of their world. Some of that is about world building, some of it is about story building for the world that would be relevant to what's going to happen. And for the most part, it kind of gives you a good idea on what to focus back on. Like, I think they drop hints about it throughout, and you're like, okay, I have an abstract idea to focus on. And it feels like Crimes of Grindelwald doesn't really have that. Like, you have this idea that, okay, Grindelwald is the bad guy and there's crimes about him, but I think they have to do too much of continuing from the previous movie. Like, maybe that's one thing that made the Harry Potter movies go from movie to movie and you're able to follow things a little bit better, is because each one takes place in a different school year, and there's breathers in the show between them that, define clear crescendos, whereas Crimes of Grindelwald doesn't quite feel like it has that. Let's see, another problem is there's an action scene at the very beginning of this movie that's I want to say a little hard to follow, but I think it's really hard to process while you're watching. It's sort of like the problem with the old Michael Bay Transformers movies, where it's like, well, there's these two robots fighting each other, but all you see is this big ball of metal shit. And I don't know that Crimes of Grindelwald was that bad, but it did kind of feel like they were throwing things at you a little fast, and the only point was to be fast, so it kind of feels like they're, you know, dangling keys in front of you to distract you a bit. And it's not bad, it's just one of those things where, you know, you kind of lean in that direction and feel, you don't quite feel the action as well as you could, I guess, is what I'm thinking. And, you know, overall, again, you know, it means it's a bit of a weird narrative iffiness where you're following it along and you're understanding what the characters are doing in the moment, but you're not understanding why the story wants you to care about them in that moment. So it's weird. It's not bad. It's just, you know, it's unfortunate because I think this is a common problem. You kind of see this with, like, I think the Spider-Man movies are a really good example of this, where each time they get more and more complicated and they have multiple things going on until the point where the movies just become something that people just don't care about following. And I think Amazing Spider-Man began complicated and got really complicated by Amazing Spider-Man 2. And this may be something that the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies do a really good job at avoiding, which is kind of funny because Avengers Infinity War is basically about that, but somehow it didn't feel as bad as a lot of that stuff would be, and I don't know what the fuck they did. Some sort of black magic, I'm sure. But, I don't know. This is all a bunch of stuff. I'm looking at the time, trying to think if there's anything else worth mentioning. Oh yes, and I finally beat the true final boss in Octopath Traveler. Woohoo! It was very interesting. Even following or implementing these ideas from the speedrun that I watched definitely made a lot of the stuff just breeze through a lot easier and a hell of a lot quicker. So my entire attempt, including interacting with a streamer at the very end and stuff, was 1 hour and 20 minutes, whereas my previous attempt was like over 3 hours, I think, like 3.5 hours or something. So I would have been able to retry it if I had failed and thought that a slightly luckier random number generator would have been the difference between victory or not. But no, I had to go and succeed. So that was nice. I'm glad. This basically means I'm completely done with Octopath Traveler. If I were to go back in there, it'd be to tweak the characters in order to make the final battle better, because there's a couple things that aren't quite tweaked correctly. But yeah, I don't need to worry about that. So basically that means I just need to decide what to do next. And of course, Let's Go Eevee is a good candidate, but at the same time I might want to give Monster Hunter a little love, so I'm still deciding. But that's pretty much everything for this video. I'm trying to think. I still haven't pre-ordered next month's stuff, and I really ought to, because December gets weird, and I don't know if there's other stuff that Amazon is trying to ship, because other than the 3 things that arrived today and then the 3 packages that arrived yesterday, stuff has just been arriving and shipping whenever the hell anybody wants. In fact, there's still 1 package in transit right now. I'll give you a hint. The last word is 0. But, yeah, so that should be here next week, because I think it arrives tomorrow. Ooh, and I get tomorrow off, and it's Thanksgiving. Baking pumpkin pie. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, y'all are also looking forward to your Thanksgiving. If not because you're going to eat Thanksgiving food, then because, you know, it'll be a good day for you, hopefully. Anyways, y'all have a nice week and a nice Thanksgiving.